Hi, everybody.
Hi,
I'm TJ,
I'm Calvin.
and welcome to TidalWave, Episode 3. This one is Pride. Yay! We totally decided this needed to be the one we wanted to do the most. So on this episode, we're going to talk about how we identify,
And Lingo,
our public perception, how people view us as gay people,
pronouns,
how our identity helps us make really good decisions,
my up and coming house.
and all the work that we still need to do within our within the gay community and in the community as a human race in general.
Yes. And then later on this week, on Wednesday, that's when we release Calvin's Current Crave.
Yeah, and then following that, we'll have some more snackable content like the splash that will be coming out after Calvin's Current Crave. And of course, we still haven't forgotten our game show as well. We're going to invite a few guests you may know or may not know, and we'll make sure that we have that game coming for you. So we have a new format. We split it up, but we really wanted to come to you and discuss our favorite topic, Pride, this week. So without further ado, let's get into the program.
Welcome to TidalWave, a whole new level of entertainment and showbiz experiences. Knowledge, culture, influence, and art. Our conversations will leave nothing off the table. We'll make a wave with our stories and give you the insights you want and need. So prepare to catch the wave and go with the flow. Please welcome your hosts, TJ DECORUM and Calvin.
Yep, that's right, everybody. Welcome to TidalWave. I'm TJ.
And I'm Calvin, also known as DECORUM.
Yes, and like we mentioned in the beginning, this episode we're going to talk about all things Pride. Yeah, Calvin and I thought this was going to be one of the best things. We wanted to start with friends, and we wanted to start with family, and the next best thing for us as entertainers and as friends and all of those things was to talk about this lovely subject, Pride, gay, and all of those things. Calvin, what does this topic mean to you?
Pride, the word alone comes with a lot of weight. It comes with a lot of freedom. It is beautiful. It means everything to me. Because you get to show exactly who you are. You get to show everyone who you are. You get to actually find your actual tribe, because as long as you are full of your pride of who you are, excuse me, my light fell. Then you'll be able to find your tribe, and that's what's important. We didn't ask to be here. We all just came here. And so it's nice to be who you are and find those who love you for it.
No, and I think that goes hand in hand with our very first episode that we did about friendship. And we talked about a lot of those things, building those friendships ourselves, and they become our family. And these people become very important to us, like our moms and our dad, not like our whole family structure in general. And I think because you have a common similarity with somebody, or you share views with them that are aligned, and something as being proud to be gay, that aligns you with so many people that on that vibrational scale that's so important. And I think the support there for that, because the acceptance is always there 100% mainstream, it becomes a bond that is even stronger than a friendship.
Family.
Yeah, it is family. And I think this episode really is the one to follow after the friends and the family episode. How do you classify yourself? So when somebody says Calvin is a, or Calvin is, how would you classify if you told somebody that?
Well, I'm definitely male identifying. My energy and my spirit is practically yin and yang, split down the middle. I'm an experience. I like to say I'm neither male nor female. I'm an experience when I'm being sassy, but I'm male identifying. I'm a homosexual man. But that is just the title. I mean, that's a label that will help. I like to say that helps them understand a pathway to find me, because there's more to just than that, because not every homosexual, we're not a monolith, you know what I mean? No people, we're groups of people, we're not monoliths. So, we all have our own individual path, but that is where the path is joined with most people.
Yeah, I texted you a couple of weeks ago, and I said I was watching this amazing documentary on YouTube. I watch everything on YouTube, and it was they put about 10 to 12 people in a house, and they all were classified differently. And after this social experiment that they did in the UK, I texted you and said, "How do you classify yourself?" And you immediately came forward and you were like, "I'm cis. I'm I identify as male,
Yeah.
and I'm gay," and that's basically it. Those are the identifiers and all that. And I think that I identify the same. We don't present always the same. Everybody, the way that you classify yourself doesn't mean you have to present yourself to the world in the same fashion as somebody else.
Exactly.
And speaking of presenting yourself in public or in front of people, you have completely changed your identity today versus the past two times. Tell us about this evolution of this art form that you're doing.
All right, so my name is DECORUM A. Pabon. I am the house mother of the up-and-coming House of Pabon. First, a little bit about me. I found her. I was like throughout the years, people always been like, "Oh, do you do drag? Or you should do drag, or you would be great at drag." And I was always like, "Oh, yeah, if it ever feels right." But I was never given a name. And it was my last restaurant job here in Brooklyn. I was working at Cheryl's Global Soul, and when Cheryl was talking about me on one of my last shifts, she said, "Oh man, your decorum and your etiquette." And then she just looked at me and she said, "If you were a drag queen, your name would be Decorum." And I said, "Ah." And so then I told one of my best friends named Tim, and you'll see him in a bit. And he was like, he told his partner Carlos, and it literally just like evolved into, not only was I just Decorum, but then I became Decorum Pabon, and we decided to, yeah, honey, why did I gag on myself? Yes, she looks fabulous. As I was getting ready for today. But yeah, I'm a performer. It's every bit of me. I have dreams of, getting an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Olivier, and Tony under Decorum A. Pabon just as much as Calvin. We are one and the same. I feel like it represents the maternal side of me. Even though I identify as a male, I don't feel I have paternal characteristics when it comes to nurturing. I'm very maternal, and I feel like this is who she is. And also, she's an homage to every strong woman that raised me. I was raised in a family predominantly ran by women, so and like my mom will see like pictures of me and she's like, "Oh, you look like your aunt here. Oh, I see my face there." So that's who Decorum is. Now shooting to that was back in 2016 when I met Carlos, who is our house father, and he is the partner of Tim. And Tim, me and him did Broadway Bears, the strip-a-thon, and that's how we actually all became friends in 2016. So then shoot to 2019 when I got given the name, and we sat together. And so in the 2 years from 2016 to 2018, we were like, okay, what do you want to do? What are your dreams and goals? Because Carlos is an amazing fashion illustrator / designer, and he would show me all these garments, and he would show me these drawings, and I would always tell him where I'd wear it, which was always so cool because he could see a woman wearing it and I could see where she was going, which is how we ended up building that beautiful relationship. And so when I told Tim, I was like, "Tim, I think I have a drag name." He told Carlos, and Carlos was like, "I will draw anything for you." So then as years went on, then I went to the Muni and I met two beautiful men. I was going to say boys, two beautiful men that just latched on to me and I latched on to them. It was this great energy. And so the first one was Mikey. This is Mikey. Look at my baby. Oh, look at my baby. That's Mikey. He just graduated from Pace University. He goes by the name Essence. That's so in our house, I like to tell them when you're joining our house, there are ladies in waiting and then there's honorary children. Honorary children are people who don't want to join the house, but they help in our house in any kind of facet. But ladies in waiting are people who want to join the house, and there's a process to join the house. And one of the main things is we always tell them you need to know who you are, or at least where you want to go, because this is a house to support you, and we want you to be able to stand on your own ground and not get lost in us. So you tell us what your name is, and then your mother, will name you your middle name, and your father gave you your last. So Mikey chose the name Essence, and so Essence, he has the middle name. I won't go into all the stories of why they got their middle names, but his name is Essence Allure Pabon. And then next you have Tyler. Tyler, we met also at the Muni. I have this gorgeous picture of when Tyler and Mikey were together because Mikey didn't know how to put on a tie. And the first time I was tying his tie, and then the second time Tyler tied his tie. But Tyler, he chose the name Fiction. And so his name is Fiction Arel Pabon. And then you have me, Decorum Aida Pabon. The reason why I am Aida is because Carlos's mother name is Aida, and Aida being like the Queen Aida, therefore I am Decorum Aida Pabon, and everybody in our house will have a middle name to pay homage to Queen Aida. And then our newest addition is my best friend Bernard. Look at him! Bernard just joined the house, actually. He goes by the name Honeybee. His name is Honeybee Adora Pabon. And so that is our house of right now. And we have some lovely ladies in waiting. Shout out to those who know who they are. But yeah, we're just an up and coming house. We're going to be doing any and everything. We have what I call front of house, which is where we're starting to actually build the atelier side of our fashion house, which is why y'all heard me say on the first episode, the goal is every look that I get pulled off of a sketch, I will replace a Vogue picture and put ours up. So that's where that ties in. But then I also have my own projects and things like that. Our children are finding their names and finding their way, and all of us are performers. So just get ready, baby. That's all I can tell y'all right now is get ready. Because we're going to do any and everything. I'm building a nation is what I like to say. So follow us on all of our platforms. You can find all of my platforms under Calvin Lamont Cooper, and then go into the bio on Instagram, and you can find the House of Pabon. You can find Carlos. You can find Bernard. You can find Mikey and Tyler and Tim, and just make sure you follow because you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, no, and I mean this drag art that you've been really your journey has been you've been really adamant about keeping it you wanted to do it when you were ready. So
yeah,
I feel the past 6 to 12 months you really have decided that this is now the time and this is the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm doing it the way I want to, because the thing is, I didn't want to pump the clubs like my sisters. I love them for that. But like I said, since I'm chasing not an EGOT, an EGOT, I like to say, so I can't have a nightlife like that, but I want to perform in clubs. So I'm finding that balance in them all. I am a designer as well. So I'm finding that way to have her voice and show her the way I am also being able to show me. Because, that's the thing. It's showing us at the same time, but also keeping two separate lanes.
Yeah, no, completely. And you speak of showing you. How do you think? How much do you think that being gay drives your decisions every single day?
Well, honestly, it's like secondary because being Black is the first thing. Like, honestly, being Black, when I wake up proud, and thank you to all the supporters talking about being proud, like to find out, my 23andMe, that journey, wake up proud, to know who I am. That's what it makes me feel, to give back, to build wealth. It's like, I started to literally be the living word, I like to say, with pride. It's, you know, if we're over here saying that we need resources, sometimes we need to be the ones to build them. So
Mhm.
like, that's why, like, for instance, I became a mother, is because I said I didn't want to be, when it comes to being homosexual, I was like, I didn't want to be one of those people that are just like the new kids these days. All they do is want to dance outside in their poom poom shorts. They don't know nobody. They have no respect. And then I sit back though and I look at us and I say, well, who is teaching them then? Who is showing them the way?
Mhm.
Who is, you know, who is actually there to replenish the resources? So first it's like, yeah, I'm Black. And it's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to own everything outright. I'm going to do everything and I'm going to give back. And then as a homosexual, it is, I'm going to own everything outright. I'm going to give back. And I'm, you know, and so that's what it, so yes, it just comes secondary, because it does matter. You know, my goal is to buy a house in the Bronx in 2030. I said, I want to buy a 3-bedroom house where, it's going to be a 3-bedroom that will actually service as the House of Pabon. Not only will it be an atelier where, you know, you can come and get fittings, but my 2nd and 3rd bedroom will also be for my children, for my friends, for people who, you know, me and Carlos are, and Tim, the house fathers, we all co-parent. We've been talking, we're trying to figure out what to do and how to give back, because that's our next big move. That's what we're really looking forward to.
No, for sure. And I think this is something that I've thought about a lot. Being gay never defines who I am as a person. And I think you're absolutely right. It's become like a secondary. It's been a backburner situation, and
Yeah.
it doesn't lead how I decide or how I live my life. It actually helps propel me in that direction, because so many fears and so many moments of uncertainty and so many moments of bullying and all of those harshnesses that you've had to overcome have
Yeah.
helped propel me and my decision making into who I am as a person right now. So it's not an identifier for me. I think it's now become sort of a back thought, and it's now as part of, you know, like how I operate on a day-to-day fashion, week to week, month to month, year to year
Mhm.
situation. I only notice that it becomes an issue when somebody has an issue with it.
Mhm.
And then it automatically jumps from, you know, that file of facts that's so far away, boom, to right in front, and it becomes a wall
Yeah.
for people to not be able to penetrate, because they've got an issue with who I am as a person, because they think that's how I make choices every single day on those behalfs, and it's completely different. I don't make a decision because of my gayness or because
Yeah.
of who I like and identify with on a day-to-day manner. No, I've made those choices because I, TJ, am a person, and
Yeah.
I have experience, and I'm knowledgeable at things, and I'm my own best manager, and that's not part of of the decision factor by any means.
Come on, I'm my own best manager.
Yeah,
Like I said, don't
exactly.
check me, boo. Check your checkings.
Yeah, and I mean that's you too as well, being with DECORUM and being Calvin Cooper and the environment and the industry that we live in. You
Mhm.
have to be your own manager. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be your own publicist, your
Yeah.
own PR person. You have to be your own HR department. You have to be all of those things, because it is you. You're that business,
Yeah.
and you're moving forward. So all of those decisions are weigh heavily on you,
Mhm.
not you being gay or you being trans or you being any of those people, any of those classifications. It's you being yourself.
Yeah.
You're your own individual person. You
Mm.
know.
You bet. Come on, preach, TJ. You better stand up.
But speaking about how people see us and you, how were your interactions with the public? How do you notice? I mean, you live in New York, and when we lived in New York, I felt it was a completely different beast. But you recently went on a trip to somewhere outside of New York. So,
Mhm.
what's your perception of public viewing you as a person, as a male? That's gay.
Well, you already know you already know, since you know me, that I don't care. what
Yeah.
people think. And it took some time to get there because, you know, like I said, the first issue is people see my blackness, which I'm like, good. See how black I am. See how powerful it is. It is not here to threaten nobody because I see your whiteness. I see the power in that too. I see, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like I see human beings and I see spirits and I see energy. So me being me, when I'm in New York, and when I'm out and about, it doesn't really matter. But then when you actually talk about seeing America,
Mhm.
I went to Trump country. I was in Pennsylvania, and every house had a Trump flag on it. Every car, every flag, and all of that. And I'm like, you know, being from Virginia, the thing is, there are people who support Trump, and then there are those who support hate. And that's the thing. It's just for me, honestly, nothing changed from when I step out of New York to Pennsylvania just because there's more people willing to be loud about it. You know, honestly, it's more dangerous here in New York because it's the get you gotcha. It's the melting pot, and it's not. And it well, one, no one needs a melting pot of anything anyway, because we need to be individual. We need to have interdependence. We need to show you the skills that we each can bring, and that's how we get together, and that's how we bond. We can find our common similarities through our differences. And so but yeah, going into Pennsylvania, it's like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell whether you're looking at me because I'm black. I can't tell if you're looking at me because I'm gay. I can't tell if you're looking at me because I decided to, you know, brush my hair or, you know, and so to me, nothing changes because I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm living me at the best. And it is like, honestly, you know, I know we're not immortal. So if I'm supposed to be taken out some way, somehow, no matter what, I'd rather be living. I'd rather live all the way though. I'd rather be singing. You know me. There's time and a place, but most of the time it's the right time, the right place if I show up. So
I think that's important to say for anybody that's watching, or for people that do watch this. It's easier to say than do, but there is a factor of getting to the point in your life when what somebody else thinks about you
mhm.
has nothing to do with you.
It's none of your business.
It has nothing. What they think about you has nothing to do with you as a person. It's them. It's how
Mhm.
they view you. And that's the hardest part, I think, growing up and to where I'm at as a person. I sometimes put too much pressure on what other people think about me, but that doesn't shouldn't affect me as a person because that's not me. That's
Yeah.
their own vision and that's their own problem and that's their own issue
Mhm.
that they're maybe projecting, that they are uncomfortable with, that they're uneasy about discussing. But that doesn't that I did nothing to do that to them. To you, that
I did nothing to do that.
I did nothing to do that.
Where are we? Who is this? What is that?
But I mean, it's even growing up younger or telling somebody that's younger, it's always easier to say it than do it. We've all been there.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a hard, it's like I tell a lot of people now, because some of my friends call me the energy guru, but
Yeah.
I tell them, I go, the only reason why it looks so easy on me is because the longer you practice it of not caring. And when I say not caring, it doesn't mean you don't have a heart. It's
Right.
you know what is good for you. You know what energy does to affect you. So I always say the less I know about, the less I care about. So when I'm not caring and I'm actually just focusing on that, it becomes more of a practice of it's actually about keeping the peace and not, well, what are they doing? And it's no, what it's more about, why does my energy feel like it's being shaken? Why? And that's what I told him. I said, you keep practicing that, it will become a natural habit. It doesn't make it any easier because you've also witnessed me having to let go of best friends and you've seen me like, I keep it. But then on the other side, I'm healing through it because it just makes it easier, you know? So yeah, because you got to get used to hearing your voice. So many people spend their life listening to what she got to say and Joe Bob and Ellen and blah, 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 but they do it on their own that I'm going, you are having this much like triflingness in your life is because you stop listening to your voice. You know
Mhm.
how many times you can ask somebody how they doing and the first thing they'll say is, oh, well, my sister, and anybody ask all that? Or, well, what happened? Well, too many voices. What happened? Tell me what happened to you. Like, that's how I usher through. And so you practice that. and you'll start to get better. But see, some folks, they work on the other end. They're like, well, then that's just narcissistic. And I'm like, and yet you still haven't healed yourself, you see?
Mhm.
Come
Yeah.
on, this is deep.
No. No, I completely agree, and I think there's layers of there's different layers in this gay community
Oh,
that
yeah.
still need to be. It's like an onion; they still need to be peeled away. Um,
An onion, all right, it'll make you cry.
and it's true. What's some of the work that you think still needs to be done within the gay community as a whole?
Ah, racial inequality first and foremost.
Good.
And
I
it
know.
needs to, because white people truly are the problem in every situation, because they will not admit to the fact that they have ego issues, they have pride issues, they just have issues. Like, it's because it's no different. The reason why I say it like that strongly, it's like the way that the white American says to us now, they'll give us some quote from Martin Luther King or something. It's the same way that these white gays will give us a Marsha P. Johnson and forget she black, and be the same ones to keep all the fats and the femmes and the blacks and the browns outside, while everybody else is as white as those bricks that they keep up in their nose up inside the building. Like, and everybody wants their little gay best friend that is black. Everybody wants their Miss Thing and Pops and girls and all of that, and don't know where it come from. They out here still saying shablams or death drops. And yes, I correct every single one of them because we need to, because that's the thing, is that they don't even realize that they are becoming part of their oppressor. They're trying to find this white American, white bread that's cisgendered, straight, mask only, that's all they do is wear masks. They wear nothing but black fads. That's what they do. They wear black fads. It's like, don't, you know what? No, don't even, because she's spite. You know, see, there's another side of me. So this is decorum, but you was about to meet etiquette, and she don't come out. And if you cross decorum, you'll be schooled by Miss Etiquette, honey. She gets you right. And that's what half these white kids need to understand, is that they need to know that everything that they stand on is on the backs of blacks and Latinx. And then let the Latinx community know that everything y'all stand on is on the backs of blacks. So y'all, because let me tell you, I just did a project with somebody who is of a Dominican descent, and he was talking about that. He was like, yeah, in my family we don't get to talk about that either. So you have, like, when I tell you, we just need to work on racial inequalities, and white people need to wake up and realize that this is nobody's problem but theirs, because you can't get rid of us, and you don't want to. That's why you're so in love with the BBC. That's why you stuck in all this transness or all this blackness or all the anything that black people do. Y'all need to wake up, because it ain't going nowhere, and all we doing is asking to share it. So until they wake up,
And I feel like even within this community that we're in is, again, that different layer of comfortability. That some gay identifying people aren't comfortable with people of color, and then they're not comfortable with trans people.
But see, but that makes me so, it gets on my last nerves. Like, I'm uncomfortable with a person of color. Well, baby, imagine being black and see the way that y'all look at us like weapons. I'm like, all I know is white folks killing black people. So am I not having that privilege to be scared of you? Well, I'm gonna say the N-word, girl. Nothing's off the table. But no, it's like that. It's like, but that, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. You know what I mean? It just don't make sense.
I think it's completely, I mean, I asked the question, I just wanted to see where you were at for all of it, but there is still within the small percentage of the community that is gay, that identifies as gay, there's still work that needs to be done there, and you know, we want to be fully accepting, and we want people to fully accept us as people.
Yeah.
We have to, within the community, be able to be strong enough and be able to bond together. I was watching this, again, I always reference YouTube. I like watching a lot of things on YouTube. I was referencing this program that was talking about people that classify themselves as bisexual. Mm. And they're actually 1.8% that identify themselves as bisexual. And combined, gay, lesbian, and trans, only 1.7% of the population. population. So there's a population that's higher than gay, lesbian, and transsexual people, and they're bisexual, and they actually have an even harder time within the community because people immediately think that it's just a stepping stone to being gay. But
yeah, they get it from both sides. I mean, I've been through the ringer with a couple of friends of mine that are bisexual, and I'm all about visibility. And I tell them, I'm like, you know, one of my biggest things is I go, you have to pay attention to what people say to you, because you can hear when people want you to prove something. And if they want you to prove something, you prove to them that you ain't their friend. Because even for homosexuals, and homosexuals pretty much are the worst. We learned it from the straights. So we're so on it, like, you're gay, aren't you? Oh, and half the time it's just because they want to sleep with them. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter, because let me tell you, when I've been in love with a sapiosexual, a man who didn't even know he liked men because he doesn't like men. He liked my intellect, and he fell head over heels. And he's like, what is it about you? And I'm like, see, I am so comfortable. That's why you're also, because I know who I am, and I don't judge people. I don't judge folks for that. And people will know when you sit with me, oh, I will correct you real fast, especially if you try to do a blanket comment. But I mean, I can say my blanket comment about white people. I know there's some good ones out there, but y'all need to get used to hearing it like that. It's y'all turn for 450 years. I mean, we're nearly not going to treat y'all the way y'all treat us, because I mean, we're not that barbaric. But no, it's like the way that everyone just judges everybody, just judgment. And it's like, stay up in your lane, boo. Do what you doing. If they not loving you, then that's good. If they not hurting you, even better. You know what I mean? And that's why I do feel sorry for bisexuals, because a lot of us have gone that route too, of like, I'm bisexual. I mean, girl, I used to dabble up in the vagina, but then it became a chore. Like, it literally became something that was supposed to fit. So it's like I fell out of it. And I'm not blaming like being bullied on that, but I was just like, no, I mean, that was this natural progression. I mean, you know, it's just like anybody, we don't know no better. And then you start to learn. And so, but a lot of it is because everybody just wants everybody to live to their expectations or go through what they've gone through. And bisexuals just it's just, woo, I'd be feeling so bad sometimes, because they like, you're just gay. And I'm like, ah!
And again, it's that somebody projecting how they think the expectations of this other person should be. So you might be upset. You're getting upset because you think that this person is gay, but they do not classify themselves. Same way people get upset when a trans person is classifying themselves as one way, but that's not how they identify.
Yeah.
You cannot tell somebody that they're male or female when they are identifying differently. And not even discussing gender or being gay or not gay. I mean, I noticed that my nephew has long hair. So the social norm for people in just not thinking, like completely just not thinking, they associate long hair with being a girl. And I was at this theater, a local theater here, and we were seeing a show, and we were just, we were not supposed to run, but we were running through the auditorium to get to the bathroom. And we had to pass through this metal detector, and the person that was letting us in was like, oh, isn't she pretty? Or something like that. And he was running away, and I said, no, it's a he. And he's like, no. And I said, wait, no. You don't get to say no, because yes.
It's like they said no.
He is male. I turned around and I was like, no, yes, he's a boy. And he was like, no. And I was like, no, you're uncomfortable. You associated long blonde hair with being female. And I'm trying to tell you that you're wrong. You can't tell me that I'm wrong.
And it's also just like, I like to ask everybody my favorite question. Who the hell are you? Like, who are you to tell somebody their business?
And it's so strange, you know, and I think about it often, and it's like you associate one small factor with being something. And you're like, you can completely embarrass yourself because you've assumed something about somebody, and you're completely wrong. And then find out who the person really is how they recover from that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been such a great social experiment, just with speaking about my nephew with long blonde hair, is that everybody thinks that he's a girl. And his facial structure, nothing. He doesn't associate, he still is, somebody very young. That's gender is something that he's
a fawn right now.
Yeah. But he associates as being a boy. So when people are like, oh, what does she want for dinner? He just has gotten to that point where he just looks at us, but we've also snapped into the factor. It doesn't even happen. Not a second passes, and we just immediately know it's a he. Then the social experiment happens from there. How do you recover from something you've assumed? And that's people being gay, or people assuming that somebody is bisexual that is gay, or somebody that's trans is identifying as something that they're not. How do you recover from that? What have you learned? How have you progressed yourself forward in your own life to recover from something like that? How are we putting ourselves into those positions, even now?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're always going to find ourselves in those positions because people will always be that way. Some people will not know, and that's fine. It's beautiful because you can always tell when someone says it and then they have that like, oh my God. I mean, I grew up that way. My mom used to tell me all the time. She was like, she cut my hair. I had this gorgeous hair. She would tell me she has it in her envelope in my baby book. And she was like, I used to dress you in browns and blues, and everybody be like, look at her. She's so beautiful. And I was like, but Mom, when we're babies, first of all, we predominantly do look very female. We look like our mothers, especially. But it's just like, it's like there's always going to be people who like, I mean, the project I was on, the pronouns, it just got easier just to say people's names, which was one I was like, better, because then get some respect up in there, because gender is a construct, and none of us asked for anything, and it's shoot.
I was in deep thought one night, and it's a classification. I was thinking about this. We have to classify things as a human race. Why do we have to classify something as somebody as being male or female? Because we need to know how they're going to think, what they're going to say.
Y'all need to know, just because y'all want to be able to judge it and be all up in their business. Because if that's the case, I mean, just because you're born with a penis don't mean nothing. I know so many don't touch the front bottoms in my life that are like, oh, that's just an ornament. I know how many girls who have vaginas who like, I like to stand up and pee. And I'm like, girl, live, do you. I know boys who like to sit down and pee. I'm just like, none of it is. It was like, that was one of the things that either also like waking my mom up too, because she used to say, Calvin, you got to take out the trash. The boys take out the trash. And I literally looked at her one day and I said, Mama, you got to stop saying that to her now, her grandson, my nephew. Because I said, Mom, we grew up in a house where we're the youngest. I'm the youngest and the only male. So you keep telling me that men take out the trash. I understand that. But I've been watching women take out the trash and men take out the trash. I've been watching women and men wash the dishes. So you got to stop also putting these gender roles on us because of what's between our legs, and it ain't none of your business, which is why so many men have. It's just like the fact that we still have problem with people who want to be stay-at-home dads. Well, which one is it? Are you going to be proud that he wants to stay at home, or are you going to emasculate him and then be like, you need to be the breadwinner? But then we ain't got no fathers who stay home. It's like everybody, because you're all up in everybody's business with too much judgment instead of just living your life. Amen.
Living your life. No, it's totally. You got.
I know, because look, that's us, because we, it's every day. It's like, because that's the other thing too. Like when you asked about like making decisions based off of like, if me thinking gay forward, it's like, no, because straight people don't sit there and go, I'm sleeping with Susan today, so I'm gonna get good insurance, and I'm gonna sleep with Patricia tomorrow, so then maybe my car insurance is going. They don't have to act like that, nor do I care. So and it's just like, no. And it's also like, just wash your hands and mind your business and drink some water, and you be happier. Help when you can help. If you can't help, mind your business.
And don't try to tell me what your expectations of me should be, because you brought up a good point. Because somebody that's heterosexual identifying, they don't ever think about that. Same way we do. Now that we're in this community, we don't think about that.
Do you know how many times I have to correct my friends to keep speaking up? And I won't say correct them, excuse me, but I stand up under their feet. How many women are too nervous now to talk about periods? Because I go, exactly, like they're the only women in the world. And I go, I'm so tired of that. I'm like, periods happen and they're going to keep happening as long as there's women. We need to talk about it. I'm so sick and tired. You know what I love doing around all my male friends too? If you want to sit here and talk to me about you blowing some girl's back out, good. I'm going to tell you how I blew out Bob's back too, and you better be okay with it. Because a hole is a hole, love is love, sex is sex, and for all I know, you might like some other stuff, but you be too scared to talk about it. But no, I talk to everybody the way they treat me.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. That's why other people would be like, how are you so free? I'm like, because y'all so free in your privilege. You don't realize you so free in your privilege. So I'm going to talk in my privilege of, look at what God let me do. Look how wide my mouth can stretch. Look how good and tight my
and blow out Bob's back. I cannot with you blow out Bob's back.
Kaboom. I'm just saying, but that's the thing too, because I mean, I met all kinds of men and they all came from my family.
But you bring up a good point that kind of crosses over, not necessarily even being gay. It's that we as a human race don't discuss important things enough.
Yeah.
People, like you said, periods, they're going to happen monthly, but people don't discuss them enough that what happens if it's not happening.
Yeah, and it's like this shameful this shameful stuff get on my last nerve too. Like when I say I'm perturbed, I'm like, I'm a raging feminist because it just makes sense. We all come from women. It's like again, this is why I am decorum. It is an homage to women. Like, I just, like I said, I don't get it because especially like it's on all of us to help train the next ones, to help grow and to help heal. Because in our family, we don't tell kids to stop crying. We say, why are you crying? We also don't talk to our kids like, you want some wah-wah? No, because they're little baby adults. And half the time, by the time a child is 3, they'll tell you who they are. It's us who forgot that language. Because when you sit 2 babies together, you watch them, you like, what the hell do they be talking about? But they be going at it and they be laughing and they have fights that they look like little drunk humans. But that's the thing. It's like, we just have to get to a point where we can stop judging and actually just help, because they say you should always pay attention to what your friends are going through because you're about to go through it or you already have. And that's just where it's at. It's not even, and that's where that pride also comes in. If heterosexuals can be proud of how they are multifaceted as well, then there would be a lot less chaos too, because there are straight women who like to play dominant roles in the bedroom. There are men who like to be submissive in the bedroom. There are men who like to dabble with phallic shaped things, but not attached to a man. Women who are infatuated with feminine bodies, but not on a woman. It's like, and it's like, there's 7 billion people in the world. Somebody like it.
Somebody likes it.
Somebody like it.
And and even in our community and our industry that we're in the entertainment industry, so much is not talked about that a lot of people go through things they don't necessarily need to go through just because they didn't say something. Mental health is one of those, but it's not something that people feel comfortable talking about because there's a stigma behind it. But if more people discussed it and felt comfortable with it, there is something else could happen.
That leads all the way back to topic, the beginning of this topic. I go, if you stop caring what everybody got to say, and you say your piece and you get to those resources, because that's what it is. I don't care it's like one of the guys I live with, I live with 4 white men. So imagine the mental, yes, God. But one of them asked me, when do I know the right time to apologize? I said, easy. When I feel like apologizing, because the apology is not for them, it's for me. It's how I heal from how I acted, from how I showed myself, from what I went through, from experiencing trauma again. It is me apologizing for myself. That's why when someone says, this is just my perspective, when someone says I accept your apology, that's what that means. I accept your apology. And an apology should only come out of you if you feel sorry. If not, then don't say it. Say what you mean. Don't listen to no one else and get your healing. Because yeah, there's a lot of folks who like, you don't see a therapist. I'm like, I don't need to, because I say everything on my mind and I also know how to get through it. I was cleaning up the room and somebody said, what's that girl named? Maria Kondo something. They was like, do you know her? I said, don't need her. I've been cleaning up my business since I've been Black. So like, this is the
What's her
thing.
name again?
Maria Kondo. Shut up. That mean it ain't right. But that's what it is. I was like, no. And on top of that, because most of these folks then go to therapy and then they only care about what it's like, no, you don't know how to even unpack, boo.
Yeah.
So girl, this hair, there we go. It's just, you know, I'm about to just readjust.
Readjust. While you're readjusting, I want to discuss something. Oh yeah, there you go. I want something on a lighter note. Let's talk about this lingo. I think a couple times you've said something, but I don't recognize it anymore because
what did I say? Bottom?
No. That you said to me, you've acknowledged me like this. And for the people that don't know, when you talk about lingo, what's some of the lingo that you use or you know that's in the community, in the gay community, that you like using or that you use on a day-to-day? You called me girl. And that neither of us identify as female, but it's just a lingo within the community. I don't even hear it coming out of your mouth or anybody's mouth when it comes to me. And I don't get offended by it. I know some people that do get offended by just that terminology, not thinking that you're a girl or you're being feminine or womanly or anything. It's just
I have so many like male friends that are so used to me saying girl, because I always go, do you know why you need to be okay with it? Because for the last, I don't know how long, y'all been calling everybody guys. So you should be okay with girl. Then on top of that, with terminology, well, one of it, I mean, like I said, yeah, we talked about shablam. Okay. Yeah. That is not a term. You might as well say an N-word to like talking about a dip, like, because a shablam is rude and it's not even a term. It's not a real thing. It's never been a thing. And it has been a term that was trying to appropriate a dip. A dip is when you see them go to the ground. Now you hear us say shawam. You could say shawam, but not a shablam and not a death drop. And a death drop is a whole nother dance move on its own. So give it its respect.
What do you use identifying words? We use girl.
I use girl. I love this mind game. I love to call everybody sis. Because whether you're cis SIS or cis CIS, you shouldn't be offended.
Yeah.
Because unless you do not go by those pronouns. Because like I said, I was on a trip. Girl, I'm feeling this Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. I'm like gagged right now because, you know, I was like, I'm about to break the cardinal rule. I don't take this wig off, but you ain't supposed to. But I forgot I also tied her under.
Yeah.
And let me make sure.
Yeah.
I want to dance with cis bodies. Yes. But I like to say that too to people who I know that do identify as cisgendered. I'm like, what's up, sis? And when they start to get a little offended, I'm like, I said CIS, honey. CIA, FBI, MNOP, all of them too.
I think cis is coming to the scene pretty more recently than girl. Girl's been around for a real long time. Also, another one, kind of on a different level, that I notice a lot of heterosexual identified people using now is queen.
I mean, exactly. And see, but you know, that used to be a bad thing. It's like, well, it comes back to pride. It takes its pride, because first of all, I never heard queen as a bad thing, because I was like, don't she rule? All right now. I love to also say His Majesty the Queen. I love to say that. You know, by one of my little nieces calls me Aunt Calvin. Because I use that as a way, because kids know that you're different. I mean, I had a child call me a princess and call her brother a prince, and I was not dressed in any feminine way, but I was like, no, they know. Kids know. It's just not, it's not with sex. It's not an actual sexual thing. It's just an energy. But yeah, it's like when it comes to pronouns and things like that, yeah, queen, you know, they be like queen. They still say it now, but I still am just like, and tell me something I don't know, because I'm
No.
ruling the game.
Yeah, no, and I noticed a lot of heterosexual people using the word queen. It makes me laugh because it's kind of like in the community, it's just gotten so big, and I really feel like the gay community has really penetrated the.
If you say penetrate one more time, you didn't say it twice now. Is that just because you're thinking about?
No, I'm talking about crossing over. How the gay culture has really crossed over mainstream into heterosexual, and I think with a lot more. What do you call it? Representation on television. I think it's really become mainstream for for people to do that.
I mean, it's like we've always been there, because here's the thing. Like, you go back to even to civil rights movements and things, to World War II, like homosexuals, I do appreciate that we have a history, but I really want people to realize it's human history, because you need both sides in order to make that story. And a lot of it, it's just the fact that there are people who don't want people to live. There are people who don't want people to be free. And I don't understand why. So the terms have always been there. And we say mainstream, but I always go, what is mainstream? Because right now there is somebody who don't have a TV, and it is not mainstream to them. It will always be current. It will always be a throwback. It will always be forever. As long as there's a homosexual that is going to get thrown out of the house, there will be a house. As long as there's a homosexual being called a faggot, there will be a queen. You know what I mean? And it's like, because the representation has always been there. I just say, have you been watching?
Yeah. No, it's true.
I am feeling this.
You are feeling yourself. You cannot stop looking at yourself in your own video camera.
I'm not even in this interview anymore.
All right, let's wrap it up. Any last words do you want to say about pride and being proud of who you are as an individual?
Yes, I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud of my mother's growth. I will say that. I need to say that. I've been out for 10 years officially. My mom will tell you too, and anybody who ever gets to meet Sharon Cooper, she'll tell you, Calvin's always been Calvin. It's just every time that we ascend to these new levels of understanding who we are, we get to put a classification to it for other people, you know? And so I just want to say thank you to my family, those who accept me and those that I accept. And check out the House of Pabon, check out Carlos and Tim, Tyler and Mikey and Bernard, and just be proud of who you are, and be proud of who you are, and be proud of who you rocking with, because I like to say the mantra, when I rise, we rise. That's not just for the good stuff. It's for the fight too. So we don't need any more allies, boo. We need freaking accomplices. Everybody needs to do something. They need to stand up, because just like how everybody and their mom likes to go out and live their life, so do homosexuals, so do bisexuals, so do asexuals, so do intersexuals, so do transsexuals. You know what I mean? And that's because everybody is a human. Start with that. Start there. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I know. My mom. It's funny. I'll finish it up in a second. But my mom said the funniest part about our first episode was of the pants check that we did. If you were wearing any clothing, she was like, I didn't want to see, but it was so funny.
You better be glad I had on drawers.
Yeah, I told her that too. I said I'm actually shocked that we were wearing anything. But I just put the name, your drag name underneath so people can find you. But yeah, how it's shaped me as a person, you're right. My family has really been supportive of just about everything once I told them that who I was 100%. Yeah, they've really been supportive, and again, it doesn't define me as a person. It helps propel me, and it just becomes who I am, and that's not an issue. How I operate in a day-to-day fashion. It doesn't affect how I make decisions. It doesn't affect how I take care of people or things or objects. It's the problem comes when somebody's uncomfortable with it, and that's not something that I can control or we can control as a community. And you know what? C'est la vie.
They say life is like a penis. When it gets hard, when can we curse online?
And on that note, stay tuned. We've got all of our extra segments. Calvin's current crave. Well, I guess it might be. We'll have to wait and find out because it might be Decorum's current crave. We'll find out. Stay tuned to find out. Also, the splash is going to come to you in a few days' time. We're going to start separating these episodes, so we're going to discuss the main topics each week, and then we'll release some snackable content throughout the week that you can enjoy and kind of keep you more connected with everything. But on that note, thank you so much for joining us for this Pride edition of TidalWave. Bye.